I'm Ayla.
Hi, I'm Beth Ann.
And this is Let's Talk BL, a Boys Love podcast.
Welcome back to the podcast. It is Sunday special.
It is Sunday. You're still figuring out how to do this.
Sunday.
It's okay. I'll take it over again. It is Sunday. That means that it's a very special day.
We never really wrote this out. When we
we just started doing it.
Yeah, when we first started doing Series Sunday, we wrote out that intro, right? Or maybe it just like flowed.
It just happened.
After 3 years, it's hard to change.
Change is hard.
So it's that day of the week where we're going to talk about something.
We're going to talk about something very special.
I'm so excited.
We introduced, if you're still getting used to this, just like we are.
Yes.
This season on the podcast, Sundays are just special days, and that means it's a grab bag of topics. And so we introduced a new topic last week.
We did.
And y'all freaking loved it.
I know, it was a hit.
And we were so excited, too, because when we came up with this concept, we were like, I wonder if anyone
You never know.
Like, be into this.
Yeah, people don't like change or like, you never know.
Well, and we also, because when we came up with this, we were trying to think through like our experience as fans, and we're like, not everybody is like us, and so are we like, trying to like
change
push our
up.
experience on other people. Like, we just didn't know. Anyways, you guys freaking love this. What we are doing is a deep dive. And I'm going to be honest with you. This week was already planned to be a deep dive.
But also, side note, I will be curious to see in our research if it hits based on the boy.
Right. Or if it's the idea of this. I'm very curious too. We're going to find out.
I love this.
So this week was always going to be a deep dive because we did plan out what all the Sundays were going to be.
Right.
But it was supposed to be someone different.
Dun, dun,
And
dun.
then last week when we did the Satang deep dive, y'all went freaking crazy for it, and you started DMing us a bunch of requests and commenting requests, which thank you. That's awesome.
It's helpful. Thank you.
So this was actually a requested boy.
Yes.
And it felt very appropriate that I take this on.
Obviously.
As the resident Phuwin Delulu. Today, we are doing a deep dive on Phuwin.
I'm so excited.
I'm so excited. And when I first started looking this up, and so again, the format, if this is your first time on a deep dive with us, it is one of us educating the other on a boy.
I love it.
We're just here I'm here to tell you all about Phuwin today. And when I first started doing this, I was like, I don't know if I'm going to find anything that like we don't already know, or that because I was like, I don't know how this is going to work of me like telling you about Phuwin, because you know Phuwin just as well as I do. But then I realized once I started doing the research to like pull all the things, I was like, wait, no, he's kind of a man of mystery.
I know, because when we did the Lost in Translation for Phuwin, the interview episode, I remember Pawn stuff sticking with me so much because like I found like such good nuggets of information that I don't really remember what I said about Phuwin.
But even this with the basics, I found some inconsistencies like across things. It was fascinating even for me too. So I'm excited to educate you about Phuwin today.
I think Phuwin is the opposite of Satang in that we see Phuwin so much and we think we know so much about Phuwin and we hear so much about Phuwin, but like because I am overly saturated with Phuwin content, I don't really pay that close of attention because I'm like, it's Phuwin. He's always there.
I know Phuwin.
And so, potentially, like, I don't know a lot of the, like, actual, like, meat and potatoes of,
details.
So I'm excited.
Well, I have the details for you.
I can't wait.
Okay. His name's Phuwin. But an interesting note about this, and we obviously know this and you know this, but this may be, I think I'm throwing in an extra nugget for you. So Phuwin only has one name, right? Like as fans, we are so used to them being, like Pawn Norwit, right?
Yeah.
Phuwin is just Phuwin.
Don't call him Phuwin.
No. And this came up. Please watch our interview with them. He talks about it. He's like, it drives me crazy when people call me Phuwin because they just like they can't figure it out. But here's the nugget of information. And I actually learned this from my Thai teacher a while ago, and I went and looked it up to make sure it was right. Mm-hmm. You may notice on his My Drama List bio, they have this line where it's like also known as, and they have written out Phuwin Not, like N-O-T. Mm-hmm. That's because of how it's spelled in Thai. There's a T and a silent R at the end of his name. But because of the way that like Thai is, you don't pronounce the T, right? You just pronounce Phuwin. But because of this sort of like distinction, when they call him Phuwin, did you hear the tone I just said?
Yeah.
When they put it on the screen, they spell the two Phuwins differently, usually. So that it's like still technically two different names.
My gosh.
Yes. So that's my fun little nugget about Phuwin's name.
So they do put Phuwin written out places?
Yes.
Oh,
and they just spell it different.
GMMTV, what the heck? This is like Fluke Godwin, where it's like, is it Fluke? Is it Godwin?
And
no
it
one
doesn't
knows.
happen always. And it's not, it's not consistent because he really does only have one name. It's like the Thai trying to make it more Thai. They're like, why is this Thai boy not Thai enough? What's wrong with you, Phuwin? Like,
that feels right.
Yeah.
That is really funny.
So that's my fun little nugget about his name.
That's interesting.
Yeah. So Phuwin was born in Bangkok. Grew up in Bangkok. He's a true and tried Bangkok boy.
Yeah.
Here's an interesting one. Okay, this is where I found the first inconsistency where I was like, oh, wait. So his debut year, he actually debuted in 2014.
When he was 12.
When he was a child.
Yeah.
But if you look on his My Drama list, they're going to tell you that he debuted in 2015 in Nung Nai Swang. Actually, what they're going to tell you is that he debuted in Nung Nai Swang, and the one that they link it to says that he debuted in 2005. But they remade the show in 2015, and that's the one that he was in. Yes. But actually, that's not even when he debuted.
Was it a Licorne?
Yes.
Okay. Those last for years.
Yeah. But actually, that's not even when he debuted.
Mm-hmm.
He debuted in 2014 in a show called Sunshine, My Friend.
Cute.
Yes.
He is Sunshine.
So there's some like, he was just a guest role. It wasn't like a main role or anything. This is just like when he, like his first like television, like you saw his face on TV.
When in America you would say he got his SAG card. I wonder if there's any equivalent to that internationally, because that has to do with like benefits.
Unionizing.
Yeah. So that is a funny like Western thing of like he got his SAG card then.
Yeah.
Because usually people in the West get their SAG card when they do like a commercial or like a one-off. Yes, please.
This is an off. I don't want to have to edit this, so I'm just going to have to tell you later. But be like, remind me later. Just because it's about one of our friends and I don't want to like spill our friend's business on the podcast. Anyways, just remind me later.
Okay.
Anyways, yes. I don't know.
Interesting.
His filmography is the next thing that we do. And it is so freaking long. His filmography is incredibly long. And I will read it all to you. So, here we go. First one, of course, was Sunshine, My Friend.
Cute.
Then Nung Nai Swang. Lued Mung Korn. And then Saluk Jit. And then we roll over into GMMTV, 'Cause You're My Boy, which is the first place that most of us know him from.
Yes.
And then Our Sky, the original one. The Charming Stepmom. Dark Blue Kiss. DBK.
Nice.
Because, he's at the end. And it's like a fun little like Easter egg. He and Neo pop up at the very end.
It truly... I'm sure we'll get into it, but truly blows my mind that Neo exists with Phuwin. I know. My brain.
And then he was in something called My Bubble Tea. And then The Gifted Graduation.
I still need to watch that.
Butts. Fish Upon the Sky.
I should have watched. Yeah.
The Warp Effect. Never Let Me Go.
Side note, Phuwin and the Warp Effect. Y'all, Phuwin and the Warp Effect. Phuwin as a rent boy is the most interesting thing I've ever experienced.
Then he was in Our Sky 2 after Never Let Me Go. And then The Jungle, Wednesday Club, We Are. And then he has two upcoming dramas, Summer Night and Scarlet Heart. And so those are all of his TV appearances. You may have noticed.
Oh, wait, sorry. He was a rent boy in Wednesday Club. He was New's brother in The Warp Effect. My bad. Sorry.
Yes.
Wanted to correct myself.
That's his television filmography. He also was in a movie called Hoon Payon.
Yeah.
Yes. So, I do have an interesting filmography fact about Hoon Payon.
I was going to say,
know. So, Hoon Payon has another familiar face in it, which is Up.
Yes.
But this movie was actually super controversial. It's a horror movie. It was so controversial to the point that it got a New York Times write-up.
Yeah. I remember when this went down.
It was crazy. Like, New York Times did a write-up on this, on the controversy around this movie, because it was about how they portrayed monks. Mm-hmm. Because it did have to do with, like, spirituality and death and ghosts, and then there were monks, and it was, like, a whole thing, and it was very controversial.
Yep.
It was crazy. He also has... it's not his filmography, but he's a voice actor.
This was so cool because he did this on his own.
Yes, so he voiced a character in Overwatch 2. It was a blind audition. So he just went and, like, did it, and they didn't know who he was. They didn't know that he was, like, famous. And the deal with it is that the character is Thai but needed to speak in English, but they needed the character to be able to say some phrases in Thai.
Oh.
And so they were looking for someone fluent in English that also was fluent in Thai that didn't have an accent in either. Right?
Oh, that's
Do you know
cool.
what I mean?
Yeah.
And so that's how he ended up getting it.
Oh, I'd be curious to know what other actors submitted.
I know. Like, I wonder
that.
if, like a Muon did it or something. Like, Muon from Math Lab.
Yeah.
Like, I wonder if anybody else, did try.
Or if he beat out, like, legitimate voice actors.
Yeah.
Because I would imagine that's a really specific niche. Because I imagine if you're a Thai voice actor, you're speaking Thai.
Yeah, I'm very curious. But, yeah, that's what they needed. Is apparently the character needed to say some phrases in Thai in his native language. They were looking for an English speaker.
It's like...
that like had native fluency in both languages.
Yeah, that's like Beauty and the Beast, where it's like it's all in English, but they say French words occasionally.
Right. Yeah, basically. That's what they were looking for.
That's interesting. Because we just spoiler alert, interviewed Great and In, and like Great just had to voice somebody in Thai.
Yeah, he did the whole thing in Thai.
Yeah, that's interesting.
But yeah, and I thought that was really fun to learn because I remember when I was first getting into BLs, Phuwin was one of the first actors that I like got to know.
Yeah.
And I used to love, and it was during COVID, like COVID was still happening.
Mm-hmm.
And I used to love watching his stories because, and I mentioned this to him when we interviewed them. What he would do is he would do a story completely in English. Like he would speak everything he wanted to say in English. And then he would do the same story, but in Thai. And I remember at the time being just like, so impressed. Like I felt like it was such a cool resource to help people. Like if you wanted to learn Thai, you could hear the exact same thing, but like in English and then in Thai.
Yeah.
And so like this was just a fun nugget for me to learn because I was like, this is something I've always been impressed with Phuwin in. Right. So I was just like very excited about that.
I think that dynamic is interesting too. I would love to have more conversations with people about like people translating themselves, because this is the note that we get on a lot of our interviews, is that people feel like sometimes translators don't translate it enough. And it's cool to hear people translate themselves, because then you really realize that a Thai phrase can be translated 5 different ways because of the way that things, because there's not a lot of direct translations of Thai to English.
A lot of it is context and like the meat and like,
like
the
even
word, not even wordplay, but like the way that you organize the words in the sentence.
Like even something as simple as we ran into someone in Thailand that we had met before multiple times, and the word to see someone is to meet
them,
and so we ran into them, and this person knows who we are, and in English they say nice to meet you. To us it's like, oh, they don't remember us.
Oh no, I knew. I was like, no, it's a translation thing. But you were like, oh, did he not remember us? I was like, no, he did.
It's the very first time. And so it was a funny like lost in translation, where if you are a native English speaker or a non-native English speaker, to translate that sentence.
Well, it's just, and basically if we were to say it in English, you're just missing one word, which was, it's nice to meet up with you.
Yeah.
Right? Versus like, if you just say in English, it's nice to meet you, or it's nice meeting up with you. Right? It's just, it's one little difference, but it changes it.
Totally.
Yeah.
But it's really cool to hear someone translate themselves, because then there's nothing that gets like.
Right. Nobody can be like, didn't translate it right.
Somebody will.
Yeah,
somebody will.
That's true, yeah.
If we know anything about fandom.
Facts. Okay, so partners.
Yes.
He does have 2, as a matter of fact.
Wild.
So his first partner, and I feel like most people do know this, but like it's interesting because when I got into knowing who Phuwin was, I had not yet watched Fish Upon the Sky. And so my context for Phuwin actually is him being partnered with Neo.
Wild.
Because I was very into Afghan, and so I was watching like a ton of Afghan content. And back in the day, there was a big GMMTV concert that Neo and Phuwin were a part of as partners, as Neo and Phuwin.
Right.
And so I knew them as a ship because
wild.
I was watching all the content of them like preparing for this concert and doing all this stuff, right?
Yeah. I want to go back and watch Neo, Poo, and
before-
ship work.
Yeah, well, that's the thing is they
Very
were both
little.
so very young.
Yeah.
And so it wasn't ship work in the sense that like we recognize ship work as. It was
Right.
like little besties.
Yeah.
Because even in, so they of course were shipped in 'Cause You're My Boy.
Right.
And even in 'Cause You're My Boy, it was like we're best friends that mean something more. Right?
Were they
Like,
also in Our Sky?
Yeah.
Okay.
So that's like what's interesting about it is it's not so much like ship work the way we recognize it
Right.
as, but it very much is like innocent, soft.
Well, and
like,
appearances I feel like have really developed over like the
Yeah.
last 5 years, even more so than it did
Yeah.
early days.
So yeah, Neo and Pooh, and if
That's
you
funny.
want to watch that, they do establish this ship in 'Cause You're My Boy, and it's a really interesting storyline. And then you get the Easter egg of them in Dark Blue Kiss at
Yeah.
the very end. They're like little students.
Yeah.
Which
They're
is
being
a very
tutored
fun,
by news character.
yes. Which is a very fun, because of course in Dark Blue Kiss that's how New gets into the
Yeah.
issues with AJ, and
Yes, of course.
Yeah. Naturally, and that's why the tumbler gets thrown on the ground.
Ah.
Yeah, come on now.
Yes,
Get
yes,
it
yes.
together, man.
Yeah.
But yeah, Neo and Pooin, and then obviously fun development there is Butts comes out, and
They
Neo
put it
and
out there.
Pond are now shipped. This is or not Neo
Pond
and
Pooin,
Pond.
yeah.
Pond and Pooin are now shipped, and so this is the Pond Pooin debut show is Butts, and Neo is Pooin's brother
Yeah, I
in
wonder-
that show.
I wonder what that casting was. I wonder if they were like, no one is ever gonna remember that Neo and Pooin were a thing.
I hope it was more of like a funny little wink. I hope it was more like deliberate than that.
Or if they were like, this chemistry is clearly very Pinong.
Yeah. Well, and honestly, just Neo is so good.
Yeah.
Like I wonder if that's part of it too.
I mean, part of the whole lore of Pon Pooin is that Pooin, they were casting for Fuds, and they like couldn't find someone with the right chemistry
There
for
was no
Pooin.
chemistry.
And then Pon walks in the room, and Destiny.
Yeah, Pond walks in the room and Pond immediately imprinted, and so obviously there
Love
was
at first
nothing-
sight.
Yeah,
Pon
There
fell
was-
harder and first.
Yeah, Pond fell
And
harder
totally.
and first and forever. And now he's like totally achieved his dream. He is the most successful of stands, okay, because Pond Pooin are real. Listen.
Obviously.
I'm not crazy.
This is opinion only. Please don't take this as any factual evidence.
I'm not crazy. Okay. I'm not crazy.
I feel like my Delulu ship changes once a year.
I literally would die for those. Like, honestly, like, something like activates in my body.
Did you have a Delulu
with
ship?
Palm and Nungdiao that I just like I have gone full Delulu and it has carried over to Pond and Pooin. Pond has freaking baby pictures of Pooin on his phone.
I
Like,
know.
Please.
I mean, yes. Did you have a Delulu ship before Pon Pooin?
No. They unlocked my Delulu. They made me crazy. I'm clown rock for them.
It's Bond.
Yeah.
It's Bond's fault.
Yeah. They literally unlocked my crazy.
I will regularly send clips of Pon Pooin to Ayla and be like, Pon Pooin real.
Yes.
That's our joke. Pon Pooin real.
Joke? Excuse me. I truly listen, it was destined. Anyways, yeah, his other partner was Pond.
One day, one of them is going to not marry the other one. I'm not going to specify who. And you're going to still be like, Pon Pooin real.
Yeah, it's a cover, obviously.
That's right.
Listen, they'll reconnect when they're like 80 years old and they're like holding hands on the front porch. It's gonna be great. I don't even care.
It's like, I feel like this is like a Max Tool situation. I feel like despite any relationship that Max or Tool have with another person, they're Max Tool forever.
Listen, Pond Pooin's bond is like deeper than just like a romance. No, stop. Than like it's what I'm saying is it's not like just based in romance, okay? It's not
Their
like,
souls are connected.
Yes,
They have a red
yes.
thread.
Yes. Listen.
I love this.
Listen.
Listen,
love
we
that.
all have that one ship. I was going to say something, but I realized we're being recorded. I can't say it.
Listen, I love them. Okay, the bond is so deep, and I think that it's not.
But you
just
know
about
what's great about...
kissing.
Yes, but it is also about kissing because
Sure.
they kiss really well.
They kiss really well.
Paw and Phuwin right now, kissing is all on my timeline because apparently it's International Kissing Day and people are like, Paw and Phuwin kissing.
Yeah, they kiss really well.
The greatest thing about Paw and Phuwin also is that, like, no matter how Delulu you are, Pond will forever be more Delulu.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. No, Pond is on my side. Whatever you're thinking right now, Pond agrees with me.
Yeah.
So.
And Phuwin is just there.
You know, the greatest thing about them kissing is that, like, Pond, like.
Yeah, sorry. That statement. Only in BL world would you ever make that statement. You know the greatest thing about them kissing? Tell me.
Okay, the greatest thing about them kissing is that Pond, like, falls into Phuwin, but it's this, like, there's a tension, right? And so, like.
But here's the thing. He only did that in Never Let Me Go. He's not doing that in We Are.
He does do it. You just don't see it because here's what I was about to explain.
Oh.
Is that because he also did it in Futz when, like, with the, like, even though Phuwin was over top of him with the, like, dentist. Because what it is it's this, like, it's a rush and then a pause, and then he, like, slowly goes into it. It's a tempo
It was
change.
just more evident in Never Let Me Go.
What he does is, like, this, like, tempo change with the kiss. It's fascinating. It's like a very, like, push and pull, like, resistance. It's almost like a rebound where he'll go in and then it'll be like a pause and then it'll be like slowly melting in. Like, it's incredible.
I mean,
it's incredible.
He really wants to kiss that boy.
I know.
That has been the evolution in BL, is that we went from boys clearly not wanting to kiss each other to boys clearly wanting to kiss each other.
It's just Pond and Phuwin are just so good. They're just so good. That's all I can say about it.
Yeah.
Okay, so back to Phuwin.
You know what we should do is rate GMTV kisses.
Is that problematic?
No, because we're just talking about the actor, the characters in shows.
Yeah, but is it like sexualized? I don't know. Unclear. Comment
It's
and tell us if you think it's problematic. I guess.
It's talking about the skill as actors.
I would need to think about it further to know whether or not
so.
that's problematic. I would need to like think on it.
We've talked about it multiple times.
But like, if we're like promoting, I don't know. I'm sure
promoting boys kissing.
But like, well, obviously, but I don't know.
Yeah, I understand. I understand. Yeah.
Okay. So Phuwin also does music. That's the next thing on the list is talking about his music. This is where it gets kind of difficult. So he is listed on Spotify under just Phuwin, but it doesn't have everything he's done. You have to go to GMMTV to get like all the other stuff because some of the stuff it's like him as like a duo or whatever.
Oh, yeah, that's the controversy with GMMTV and Spotify.
It's very annoying. Interestingly, so all of his stuff is OSTs. Interestingly, he did not have an OST for Futz. He didn't do the OST for Futz. I know.
Louis did.
I know, but perfect. Like they've been usually they'll release like multiple OSTs, especially now.
Yeah.
There wasn't like a Phuwin or Pond OST. It was
and
just
was it
Louis?
Phuwin's been a band boy, right? Was he a teen band boy?
Yes? No,
that's just Gemini.
Yeah, he plays guitar.
Yeah,
but like. Oh. But so he actually did do "Cause You're My Boy" OST.
Oh,
I know. I was fascinated, and here's the other fascinating part. Do you know who it was with? It wasn't him on his own. It was with Sings and Fiat. Like Fiat Patadon. Like former GM. I know.
But Fiat wasn't in "Cause You're My Boy," right?
No, I know. I was like, huh, that's fascinating. Confusing. And then after that, his next song was for "Never Let Me Go." He did the OST for Never Let Me Go. And then he had a couple of like one-off songs. So he and Pond did that 100 Seasons one with the music video where they're like in a studio, but there's snow.
That was really funny when that came out because I remember us being like, what is this?
Yeah, we're like, are they promoting something? Like, what is
but
this?
It wasn't their single for Love Out Loud. Like
it was just a one-off. It was around the time. So he also was a part of that Hugs song that like a million boys did.
That made no sense.
Yeah.
That was just like a GMM Grammy thing because it was like random boys.
He's done 3 OSTs for We Are.
I mean, I am obsessed with that one We Are OST.
And then he also did
what's the name
the Love Out Loud song. They released that Love Out Loud song, and he was a part of it, obviously, because he was on Love Out Loud.
You know what's a shame is that has he ever? Yes, he's been in Safe House.
Yes,
it's a shame that he wasn't in the Safe House. With the OST.
But they couldn't put actually it would have been fascinating if they had put Neo in the house with Pond and Phuwin.
That's what I want. I want all the like overlapping.
Neo wrote that song, so that's why I was like
They're
Save
very
all memories in this house.
No,
That
no,
was Neo, yeah.
no. I was thinking about something different. Of like, there aren't that many overlapping ships of like boys who've kissed other boys. Like, it would be the weirdest grouping of boys because it would be like Earth Mix and Taenu because of like Earth New.
And also, you would have to put Joss and Gawain in there because Joss and Tay.
With Singto and Christ.
And then Singto, right? And then
With
Christ
Ohm.
with Gawain, and then Singto and Ohm, and Lay.
And yeah. And then who else is overlapping?
I mean, Neo and Pont and Phuwin.
And Mark.
Right.
And Ohm.
And you throw Louis in there.
Has Ohm kissed somebody else, right?
And then you have First and Cowtongue, who have both kissed other boys. Because Cowtongue and
and Pod. And then Pod with Luke. And now we've come full circle.
Full circle. Yeah.
I imagine someone listening to this and being like, trying to think the things that we're thinking.
We actually should do a whole episode of us coming up with different like safe house castings. That would be really funny.
That would be funny. I'm trying to find, what's the name of that Pon Phuwin song? Truth in the Eyes.
Yes.
I love that song.
It's really good. Yeah.
The music video, real weird.
Yeah.
But the song, I love Pon's voice a lot.
Yeah, he has a nice voice.
I find that these boys who aren't necessarily singers, there's such a like naturalness, like they're not, but they have like a good tone to their voice.
Yeah.
There are some boys that obviously should not sing, that they're trying really hard to make it sound good. Whereas I feel like these boys who are like, just have a naturally nice tone in their voice, it's almost like they're speak singing.
Yeah.
Jung has that too. I really love Jung's singing voice.
Yeah.
Anyways.
Okay, next on the list of the format is his friends in real life. This was a little bit more difficult because he has been a GMMTV boy since he was literally like 12, 13.
Yeah.
So like he grew up with these boys. So all the boys you see him with really are his friends, right? But recently he's been hanging out a lot with Fourth and Satang.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's very cute. Also, he is a Chula boy.
Yes, so that gets into our next thing, which is like, where does he go to school? He goes to Chulalongkorn. He is an engineering boy. He's an engineering boy at Chula, which does have a reputation to it. And I would say, yeah, probably do fit.
And it's really cool because all these actor boys do have like real friends, like normies.
Yeah.
Whereas like I feel like that doesn't happen as much in the West. Like that's why it was like a big deal that like, I don't know, Taylor Swift kept her normal friend from like childhood.
Yeah.
Whereas like occasionally, and it's funny because occasionally like Phuwin will go live when he's with his like Chula friends.
Yeah.
And I just can't imagine like if my friend was famous and then we're like sitting there on live and 20,000 people are watching us like chit chat about whatever. Like that would be so weird.
Yeah. But yeah.
That's funny.
His fan club, because again, sometimes it's kind of hard to find the fan clubs because there's so many. So his official fan club is called Phuwin Official.
He is official.
And then he does have a brand. It's called Dial Black.
Yes. It's very cute.
Yes. And that's Phuwin.
Has he had a recent collection?
He has, and I'm very disappointed. He had like a soccer shirt, and he's had like a couple other shirts. Yeah.
A lot of times they'll release special collections
like
for these
for
Love Out Loud
or something. Yeah.
But they'll only make it available for Love Out Loud.
Yeah.
Yeah. The second Love Out Loud that we went to, more so than the first, we didn't get tickets to the second Love Out Loud, but we went to like the merch stuff because that's accessible to the public. And so much stuff sold out so quickly.
Yeah, like pre-order sold out. Yeah.
Yeah. Because it was hard for, I think we got like 2 things.
Yeah.
3 things. And one thing we had to
I had to order. Like I paid for it and then they shipped it to me. Yeah. That's my funny story of accidentally transferring Cowtongue like $1. Like I sent, or no, it was like 13 cents.
Yeah,
I actually sent him like 1 Thai baht.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was funny. And it was funny because all those booths were run by like family members.
Yeah.
Or like distant friends.
Yeah.
All types of people.
Anyways, that's Phuwin in a nutshell. as usual, if you
Fascinating.
know any other facts about Phuwin that you want to share, if you would like to share your own like fan journey with Phuwin, please do. We loved reading that.
I know the
Also,
Satong ones are
fact check
fun.
us. If
Yeah.
I got anything wrong, please let me know, because as I was mentioning, when I was doing this research, I did run into a few inconsistencies.
Yeah.
And so I tried to present what I thought was like the best truth. But if I got it wrong, let me know.
Yeah, because I don't think we had any facts checked for Satong. I don't think
Yeah.
anybody said anything.
But also, if you have requests, please send them in, because as is evidenced, we will just change our plans and do your requests instead.
And one day Ayla will talk about God.
We did get that request. And shout out to the person that was like, I can't believe it's not God, because I too can't believe it's not God. And don't worry, it's coming. Don't you worry. I'll tell you all about God.
Listen, you guys are so wonderful and lovely and entertain our fangirlness. You with God, me with Bonus. Somebody DM'd us and was like, should I continue OMG Vampire because it's really dragging for me? And I was like, do it for Bonus. And they were like, okay, for Bonus. And so I really do appreciate that we found this community of people who are in it for the boys. Support
Thanks
the boys.
for being our friends.
I know. Keeping our friends. And until then, this has been Let's Talk BL. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and follow all things Let's Talk BL at Let's Talk BL.